company. Right? I had never worked in a semiconductor company. None of my students had worked in a semiconductor company. And I was claiming that not only I will create a system for getting the design done in a quarter or two as opposed to 2 years, and that it would work the first time. I mean, it didn't compute. Okay? But I had a mentor in General Instrument Corporation, who was struggling with getting chips, application-specific chips made for his divisions in a timely manner. So he had a big motivation. So I couldn't go to a VC for funding. There were none in Silicon Valley. And I was too far from Silicon Valley to be even considered for this thing. So the only solution I had was to get upfront customer financing from General Instrument Corporation to build the system. What is an upfront customer financing? I don't have a product, but I convince the customer to fund me so that he will have the product when it is finished. So I never had for several years, I never had an investment in the company. I just had a contract. And I had, beside myself, 6 students joined me to go build this system. Now, it took us 2.5 years to do it. Okay? And at the end of it came an opportunity to do it for real. What does that mean? I had a customer in Gerald who needed a chip to take all of the digital logic and put it inside a single chip. Okay? Why? To save power and to save money for the cost. And they were in the business of set-top boxes for TV, where you have to get the boxes almost free, so the boxes can't cost too much. And they had seen my work, and I got a contract, a real contract, for which they gave NRE upfront, that I will design, and I made arrangement with the semiconductor division of General Instrument to manufacture it, and they would sell me wafers at a fixed price. Well, what does this sound like? A fabless company. Okay? And I had a letter of intent for General to buy $1.2 million worth of chips from me if the chip worked.
Were you the first fabless?
I think so, but so indeed, how long do you think it took me to design the chip? We were only 7 people. We were doing, development, me and my students. Okay? Only I was more than 30 years old. Everybody else was in their 20s. Okay? So anyway, I personally designed the chip in 3 months. And, one of the employees was my student from MIT, Clement. He did the verification. And at Thanksgiving time, stuff was ready, and I gave it to the fab and said, please make it. Now, they were taking their sweet time. So in December, I approached the CEO of the company. I said, I need help. I mean, we have this chip ready, your division, why So he said, okay, I will review it in January. Well, magic happened. Okay?
You want the second slide? You want the second?
I want the second.
Second.
Okay? No,
Good.
that's all right.
Oh, sorry. Goes to twice, one, there we go.
That's it.
There.
That was the chip I designed. Okay? And, suddenly, on a priority basis, the chip got done. And, I was already struggling, not being able to earn enough money to fund the company because the suite development of software contract was over. So I said, now I'm not going to get money from Silicon Valley into Salt Lake City. Well, okay, we're only 7 people. Let's back up and go to Silicon Valley. Okay? So 4 of us came, the rest said we'll come later. Okay? So we came to Silicon Valley and we got here and then the ship arrived in Sunnyvale. Interestingly enough, we started testing it, with our own, jimmied up test setup, and it seemed to work. So my colleague jumped on a plane, took the chip to General in East Coast, and within 5 days, the chip was working in the system. Alright? So we had now a working chip. So at least I have something to show, okay, to the VC. But the problem was I did not have enough money to order the wafers, pay for it, order the testing, because the VCs who were looking at me were taking forever. Very painful. So, I'm telling you how business people have to work. I had to make sure my customer got the part. If my customer doesn't get the part, I will be toast. So this is really where I gave the chip revenues away to the foundry and they supplied the chip to me. So this is really how we ended up in Silicon Valley. And here, of course, we found the VCs. Hackworth, who was a really, big guy here, he was running half of Synmatics.
So can we go to the third?
Yeah, third one. Okay. So this is how my system worked. We never drew circuits. We just wrote zeros and ones and brackets and, that's all. A software guy could design a chip as long as he knew the architecture. So this is the end of technology. But anyway, so we got going in Silicon Valley, and I here, was connected with Mazaman Company, one VC who became my mentor, gave me money because now I was in Silicon Valley. And we took off from there. And fortunately, PCs were coming, and we were able to give application-specific chips to the cost.
And the rest is history, right? And we'll hit more of this in the panel discussion then. Thank you, Suhas.